We have a short film which shows India's journey and the role of women within it. I'd request honorable ministers to please do the honors.
Guided by the belief of Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam, that the world is one family, India, under the leadership of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, is emerging as a guiding light, providing leadership and direction to the world.
Everyone wants to understand India's development, democracy and diversity. Everyone wants to know what India is doing right and how. We are home to all faiths in the world and we celebrate all of them.
India has the world's third largest startup ecosystem and is home to over 100 unicorns. It witnessed a massive leap of 41 places in the Global Innovation Index. India leads the world in digital transactions. Promoting green economy, India is set to achieve the target of net zero emissions by 2070. The new India symbolizes speed and scale. In just 10 years, India has constructed nearly 30 million homes for the poor, electrified all its villages and towns, provided access to banking, credit and insurance to people previously excluded from the formal banking sector, and delivered a comprehensive universal health insurance for over 220 million beneficiaries. What makes Indian democracy unique is the increase in women's participation in recent years, to the point where the number of female voters exceeded that of male voters in many states. India has graduated from women development to women-led development. The Prime Minister's social initiatives such as Beti Bachao, Beti Padhao not just save the girl child, educate her well, have prompted gender equality, improved the sex ratio at birth, and empowered girls. Today, India has permanent commission of women in the armed forces, the highest number of women pilots in the world, significant percentage of women house owners, highest percentage of women in STEM courses, with steep increase in women pursuing higher and professional courses, highest number of women beneficiaries of startup and entrepreneurial loans and schemes under Mudra. India distributed nearly 95 million free LPG cylinders, liberating women from smoke-laden kitchens. Constructed 116 million toilets, that has made India open defecation free, and provided more than 80 million tap water connections to homes. India assures no-cost, quality healthcare and zero tolerance against denial of services for every woman and newborn. Over 100 million women are generating self-employment in 9 million women's self-help groups. At least 1/3 electoral seats are reserved for women in national, state and local body elections. Abolishment of triple talaq, that has granted equality and legal security to Muslim women. A new vigor defines India's Nari Shakti, the women power. India is bringing positive transformation in the lives of 1.4 billion people, with a special focus on women. And when the lives of women in the world's most populous country transform, the world transforms.
Thank you. Can we please invite our panelists? Yeah. Please. एक chair और चाहिए. एक chair और चाहिए. Yeah, we are just getting them. Come. Sebi, would you like to say a few things? We are only the anchors.
We'll start off.
Start off. You can start off because
No. You come.
please, President.
I don't know where I should.
Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us for the inauguration of this very unique experience in Davos, the Women Leadership Lounge. We're grateful to our honorable ministers to be with us here today. It is their vision that, especially the Minister Irani's vision to put this all together, along with CII, supported by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. May I just request the minister to say a few words about what this lounge is all about, and then we'll move on to the panel discussion.
I think Hardeep ji is more erudite than I am and articulate. I will just describe the need for this lounge. Firstly, this lounge has not been crafted out of the treasury of India. It is an amalgam of efforts between CII and the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which for me is significant because it's industry and development sector partners who now resolutely talk about the most brilliant chapter in inclusive growth in India, which is the women-led development phase of the Indian economy. I'm proud as an Indian that we as a nation state have made a financial case for why women need that added administrative legislative support. And as Indians, irrespective of our gender, we can take pride in the fact that on this promenade, we are possibly the only country, the only democracy which has passed a reservation in parliament for 33% for women. What is the need for this lounge? Apart from the fact that, yes, we have made a brilliant case financially, legislatively, politically, administratively for inclusive growth, and especially, I hate to use the word emancipation, but for the added support and making the fulcrum of his governance by Prime Minister Modi, the women of India. But I also believe that the fact that I'm the only female on this panel says how much we still need to do, that we are aware of it, and we mince no words about it. But at the same time, while we talk about our economic prowess and our potential, we also take with us our cultural legacy. So you have young women, and one of the greatest challenges in the craft industry is that though the handicraft sector in our country has an export potential of over 1 lakh crore annually, more and more youngsters refrain from being a part of it. This lounge quintessentially also highlights the female and young potential of the Indian craft industry, the tea and the coffee industry. So without much further ado, before I give it to Mr. Puri, I think we also need to recognize a young lady who started her life from Kolhapur and today leads one of the biggest fashion brands in the world. She's quietly standing behind. But what is the potential of a common Indian girl? I think her rise describes it best. So as a proud Indian woman, kudos, and handing over to a minister who administers one of the greatest benefits that especially women have received in Tier 2, Tier 3 cities, especially in the rural areas of our country. The Ujjwala story is one of the lessons of what the agenda of the government, when dedicated to bridging the empowerment gap, how quickly can it deliver? I remember, Mr. Puri, and I refrain from calling you Ambassador Puri, but I remember a time.
I have a first name also.
So I pay homage to the fact that you're chronologically way older than I am. But I would like to also bring back the conversation when we talk about over 4 crore homes built and more than 60% ownership with women. There was a time when I read up on research which says that domestic violence against women reduces when they start owning property, especially in the family unit. So I think it's not only the homes that have been built, it is not only the toilets that have been built, it is not only the self-help group success that has monetarily empowered many women. The fact that it has had a percolating effect on even issues of violence against women, I think speaks volume about how far we have come. So as a female colleague in the cabinet, my gratitude. And now I would like you to talk about it further.
Smriti ji, first of all, let me start by expressing not only my appreciation, but I think not only to you, to the CII team, to the Melinda and Gates Foundation team, for this innovative step in having this lounge. Many of the schemes, central government schemes that you've covered, actually resonate not only in that sector but in the overall India story. Let me start by the Ujjwala scheme. But before I get to the Ujjwala scheme, some hard facts. In 2014, the country had 140 million gas connections in 2014. Today, we have over 320 million. The Ujjwala scheme was started in 2016, and the idea is to empower those of our sisters who belong to the economically weaker sections, because they were more dependent on firewood, coal, angithi, etc. And the scheme started in 2016, and today, a few days ago, the Honorable Prime Minister delivered the 10 croreth connection. Today we are nearly 11 crores, which is another 110 million of Ujjwala connections. But I think behind the success of individual schemes, there is a philosophy. And I think that philosophy, and you hit the nail right on the head, we've gone into women-led development. We started with women-centered development. The Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, to which you alluded, has already resulted in the sanctioning of 4 crore, that's 40 million homes to people in the urban and rural space. The urban sector, with which I'm more directly dealing with, 1 crore 19 lakhs have been sanctioned, 1 crore 9 lakh have been grounded. Now, something very interesting is happening. You said that 70% of the Malikana Haq, or the titles of those homes, are the name. You're absolutely right. In fact, the scheme envisages that the title of the home should be in the name of the lady of the house or co-jointly. So in any case, the lady of the house is part of the title. And as I last remember, the figure is, I think, close to 70% of exclusively in the name of the lady of the house. And you're absolutely right. Not only does this bring down all the other problem areas when you look at, things like domestic violence, etc., but it's had a profound effect on other things. But more than that, just the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, Ujjwala, if you go into other areas also, the Smart Cities project, the crimes against women have come down drastically as a result of the CCTV cameras and all those. So then it was, I think, only logical for the Prime Minister to move from women-centered development to women-led development. And by women-led development, the 33.3% reservation, which you have advocated, which has now been passed by Parliament. And once the next census is available, hopefully shortly, and the delimitation is done, and I can tell you, Smriti ji, I have been touring, along with you and everyone else, rural areas in Karnataka, Kerala, and I invariably ask one question: do you guys have a Ujjwala connection? The few hands that go up, who I said, does anyone not have a connection? The few hands that go up are the ones who said, we're getting it today. You understand? So the ability to take those central government schemes, not the other way around, how it used to happen earlier, where people used to come to a government office to get the benefit. Here the government is going to the beneficiary, and those beneficiaries who are not been part of it, to help them get those benefits. That's one. Secondly, if you look at the overall context, in the 10 years of the previous government, the entire spend on the urban sector was something like 1,57,000 crores. Today, when I look at the figure in the 9.5 years of the Modi government, it is 11 times that much. Now, if you look at the schemes which affect our girl child, Swachhta, for instance, the building of toilets, I think the dignity of the girl child, it starts from there. If you look at Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana, not only putting a roof, providing a roof, but it has a transformational effect. Ujjwala cylinder, it frees them from, spending all that time cooking, and they're all entrepreneurs. But the most reassuring and the most heartwarming stories are when the other schemes, which you are not referring to here, where, for instance, in the part of a mudra loan, I came across somebody in Kerala, was it, who took a mudra loan of 2.5 lakhs, which is 250,000 rupees. She's running a beauty parlor, and I mentioned it, I tweeted it. And she was a little shy to admit how much money she was earning, but a little bit of prodding, and I said, we are not the tax department. She says she makes a profit of 4,000 rupees a day. Now, that's where she started. That is the kind of empowerment which is taking place. And the story is repeated. The Jan Aushadhi Kendra, which are, centers where you supply the quality medicine at a fraction of the price at which they would be sold in normal pharmacies, etc. So that is not the silent, but it's now a very visible revolution taking place. And I'm very happy, and you won't mind me flattering you in public, of course, that we have a leader like you who champions not only gender empowerment, but you do a little more. You also champion women's power. And that, I think, is something that is getting a boost. I mean, got your triple talaq here, now when the reservation and the state assemblies will take place. Second question I ask everywhere I go to, including rural Gram Panchayat, how many of you will contest an election? They all raise their hands. So I'm going to conclude with one comment. I spent 39 years in another profession, and I found, as part of my studies, being married to a feminist, that wherever you have reservation and women-led development, GDP invariably goes up between 10 and 30%. And that is, I think, something which, our system, and since you are the, the flag bearer of that segment in power, and take a bow. So thank you very much.
I think I would also like CB, and I'm behaving like the host of the lounge here, but particularly what CI has done for the first time, have a center dedicated to women leadership. I think, Dinesh, that's a fantastic initiative. We spoke about it in the hallowed halls of your National Council. The accelerated, I think, implementation of it. My compliments and gratitude to CII for the same. CB?
Thank you. Thank you, Honorable Ministers. Thank you for these opportunities, and thank you for inaugurating this lounge. We talked about India in the promenade, India at Davos, but this is indeed a unique lounge in the promenade, and a unique exhibit, or a unique place for all of Davos to come and experience India. So India shows its leadership in a very, very important sphere of our economy, as was mentioned by our honorable ministers. So we really look forward to many more footfalls in the next few days to come, and many other discussions and debates taking place in this lounge. Very important point, we heard about the government enabling ecosystem, which is really promoting the mainstreaming of women in India. The industry does have an important role to play, and therefore CII was very, very honored when our Honorable Minister really first gave, if I can say, number one, gave the idea of a center of excellence on women to be led by CII. Second, she saw to it that we get some wonderful international partner, and then I acknowledged Bill and Melinda Gates to become the partner of the lounge. And third, she also agreed to come and inaugurate that lounge, as she said, at the National Council of CII. This lounge will be, this Center of Women in India by CII and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation would be devoted to capacity building, would be devoted to mainstreaming, would be devoted also to sharing some of the best practices that Indian industry are being able to do, and see to it that that's socialized and that's really taken across the spectrum. We will be engaging through this lounge internationally, and therefore this is a wonderful occasion for us over the next 3-4 days to understand how we can get the international community to partner with the Women's Center, the Women's Center of Excellence, which is located in Delhi. And we will want to see how some of the areas that was talked about by the two ministers of ours are actually understood, appreciated, and taken forward in partnership by the Indian industry and the global institutions, global think tanks, and global industry. Before I request Dinesh to also speak, and I know Lena is hard-pressed for time, and thank you, Lena, for dropping in. Thank you, Lena, for being a part of this. You've always been a very, very, very important supporter of this entire, our institution, CII, and some of our work that we do. Would love to hear from you as to what you would like us to see doing as we go forward.
I must say I was completely ambushed and surprised because I had planned to come in the audience just to cheer, just to stand in the audience and cheer Smriti Irani and the team who put this together. And the next I know, I'm on stage. So now that I'm here and I have an opportunity with a mic, I will just say a few words. Firstly, this is such a fabulous initiative because it gives us space. And the main reason I wanted to come is one of my mantras in life is lift as you climb. I want to make it easier for all the women who come after me. I don't want to be the only woman in a room, the only woman who's reached a level. I want everyone to be right behind. And it is a very, very important part of everything I do. So I wanted to come here to show my support. I'm delighted we're doing this because the more we believe in women-centered initiatives, the more we believe in women-led initiatives, it will truly transform our country. I grew up in Kolhapur. I studied in Walchand College of Engineering, Sangli, and XLRI Jamshedpur. I spent 20 years of my 30-year career in India. I'm completely a product shaped and built by Indian education system and working in an Indian management company. So I really wanted to say that I want to be able to support using my influence and voice to make sure there are many, many, many more symbols of inspiration and role models everywhere. So wishing you all the very best for a fantastic week in Davos and looking forward to seeing you again. And
Thank you. Thank you, Leena. Thank you, Dinesh.
Thank you. So, I mean, I don't think I need to add more to what has been said here, but I think first, but first, I mean, again, let me add my personal congratulations and thanks for all the support which you have given, and also being here with us to make this happen and lead this, take this forward. I think 2 points I would like to mention. As industry, I think already it has been explained that there is, I would call it an economic need to make sure that this involvement of women happens. But equally importantly, I think there is, I would call it 3 layers or 3 levels of involvement of women which we need to look at. There are certain sectors where we believe that we need to significantly improve. One of the sectors I represent, logistics, I think is an opportunity for us to create huge opportunity for women to come in and be involved at different levels. Second is that we will really need to reach a level of women taking leadership. I think we already heard Nina in terms of being the role model, but I think we need to make sure that it is not mandated, but practiced because it is absolutely essential for the growth of the companies and growth of the industry. Finally, I think we should reach a stage where none of this is reached and none of this is needed because it is actually practiced, lived, and wanted by everybody and happened across. So in fact, if I can just finish with one final anecdote, we had an event in Bangalore, which was an ex-con event where we had a Women Leadership Recognition Award. And you'll be surprised that there are many logistics operations and factories which are now being 100% run by women.
This is construction equipment
Construction equipment and manufacturing sector. So it really shows that what you have actually started is really bearing fruit, and we will make sure it really comes to its fruition sooner rather than later. So thank you for that support.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good evening. Thank you.
Served with your coffee and the snacks. Yes, absolutely. Which type of tea she's just getting? Tea coffee. That's the range here. Masala tea, sir. Actual masala tea also. मनोज जी एक मसाला टी या कुछ टी के लिए दीजिए.
Just very one dip of the tea bag, that's all. One dip, that's very light. McKinsey study, not my study. No, I'm coming to that. I'm coming to that. 100%. You're cement, and then the multiplier effect. Can we sit down somewhere there? You know, I'm Sharma. Yeah, we spoke, no? Yeah. So he's our boss. कांग्रेस सेंटर नहीं जा सकते ना none nobody the next engagement